Imagine this with me. You're sipping your morning coffee, flipping through old coin rolls, when one coin stops you dead in your tracks. Not because it's shiny, but because it whispers secrets of untold wealth. What you're holding looks like a 2006 Colorado quarter. But this isn't just any quarter. Legend has it that a singular 2006 Colorado Mint Mark quarter with a never-before-seen mint error once sold for a staggering $965,000. Yes, $965,000 for a coin that should be worth 25 cents. Now hold on. Don't choke on your caffeine just yet. This is the kind of rare coin tale that keeps collectors awake at night in excitement and fear. Fear that someone else might find your treasure first, and excitement that you might be holding something that could change your life. Today, we're peeling back the mystery, the myths, and the massive demand for this coin, and revealing how old pocket change can transform into generational wealth. By the end of this video, you'll either be sprinting to your coin jar or kicking yourself for not doing it sooner. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's next. To understand why this humble quarter ignites such passion, we need a quick history lesson. In 2006, as part of the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, millions of Colorado quarters were struck with the P Mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint. For the most part, these coins were pocket change, used for parking meters and payphones. Remember those? Cointrackers.com. But every so often, something goes wrong in the minting process. A die break, a misaligned strike, a missing clad layer. These mistakes are the mint's accidents that become numismatic gold mines. Errors make a coin rare, and rarity, for collectors, is currency. Right now, serious collectors hunt specific error varieties of the 2006 Colorado quarter like prospective gold miners panning a river, because when you find one of the truly rare ones, it doesn't just hold value, it commands it. Think of it like finding a rare Pokemon card in a box of commons. Except here, that rare card might be worth almost $1 million. Pause for a second. You might be asking, wait, is that even real? Funny how a tiny piece of metal can stir up so much disbelief, right? Like suddenly questioning whether cats secretly rule the internet. They do. But that's the kind of jaw-dropping potential that has collectors everywhere checking their change. Here's where it gets juicy. Multiple certified 2006 state quarter error coins, especially with significant minting flaws, have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars at auction. Serious numismatists have documented die cuts, missing clad layers, and other striking errors that elevate a quarter's value far above face value. Coin-identifier.com. Those who waited are now sitting on unexpected wealth, while others are still counting pennies, so the fear kicks in. What if you have one of these coins sitting in a jar, a drawer, or that old tin cookie jar your grandma gave you? What if it's not junk? What if it's the $1 million coin you never knew you had? Before we get to how you can identify these coins and what to look for, let's take a moment. Do you ever wonder how many fortunes were thrown away like lint in a pocket? Scary thought, but also inspiring. Now, let's cut through the noise and get practical. Even though most 2006 Colorado quarters are common and worth modest amounts, the rare errors, the truly eye-popping ones that fuel legendary stories like the $965K coin, share some telltale traits. Abnormal shapes, unusual metal exposure, strange cladding flaws, off-center features, or strange die breaks that make parts of the design look wrong or unique. Coinidentifier.com. Here's where urgency becomes your ally. These coins don't announce themselves. They hide in pocket change, old collections, attic boxes, and jar stashes. One day you're sorting pennies. The next day you discover something worth more than your car. Maybe even your house. That's not hyperbole. That's the power of rare coin discovery. You might chuckle thinking, a quarter worth more than my mortgage? Heck, I've joked before about finding a quarter worth more than my first car, which was basically a lawn ornament. But history has shown that when rare error coins hit the auction block, serious collectors compete and prices skyrocket. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. In our next video, we'll walk through how to authenticate, grade, and sell these rare coins, so you don't leave money on the table. You'll learn the exact steps top collectors use to turn coins into cash and how to avoid getting fooled by fake or altered specimens. But for now, ask yourself this. Have you really looked through every coin in your house? Because the one that changes your life could be hiding in plain sight. If you're ready to uncover hidden treasures and maybe find your own coin worth more than you ever dreamed possible, hit subscribe, stay tuned, and let's get digging. Do you ever wonder, what if the coin in your pocket is quietly worth more than your car? Today, we're going to uncover the truth behind one of the most talked about quarters in America, the 2005 West Virginia State Quarter, and yes, rumors of it being worth up to $986,000. Pause. That number alone is enough to make you sit up straight, isn't it? But before you start hunting through every drawer in your house, let's explore what's real, what's hype, and how you could uncover serious money hiding in plain sight. Imagine holding a quarter that most people think is just pocket change, only to discover it's a rare misprint that could change your life. Today, we're going to break down the history, the myths, the real values, and the secret codes collectors look for. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do if you find one. But first, do all these rumors about a $986,000 coin have any basis in reality? And what could asterisk possibly make a simple state quarter worth big money? Let's start from the beginning. The 2005 West Virginia Quarter was part of the famous 50 States program launched by the U.S. Mint, released on October 14, 2005, celebrating West Virginia with its iconic New River Gorge Bridge design. In typical circulation, these coins are worth face value, about 25 cents if they've been spent and worn down. Coin trackers, but under the surface, some amazing things can happen during the minting process. So what really makes a quarter valuable? It's all about rarity and mistakes. In the world of numismatics, errors can transform a common coin into a treasure. From off-center strikes to double strikes and broad strikes, these mint mishaps are the stuff legends are made of. For example, one known type of error from 2005 quarters is an off-center broad strike. These occur when the coin isn't perfectly aligned in the press and parts of the design don't hit the metal correctly, resulting in beautiful and unique distortions. Collectors have paid over $1,200 at auction for similar errors in this series. Mahaswaya, here's where things get truly interesting. Imagine a quarter so unique that only a handful exist. A coin so unusual that the entire collecting world stops and says, "We must have that." That's the kind of scenario that fuels talk of 6- and 7-figure values. Voiceover with slight grin, before you go tearing up grandma's couch cushions looking for this coin, remember, that rare error is like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn. It's possible, but you shouldn't bet your retirement on it. Grinning face with smiling eyes. Okay, back to serious coin talk. But here's what does matter. While mainstream valuation guides show that standard 2005 West Virginia quarters, even uncirculated, usually top out in the low tens of dollars, rare certified mint state coins, high grades like MS68+, can fetch hundreds of dollars or more depending on condition. Price charting. This is why collectors spend thousands on grading and authentication, because condition matters more than you think. And the rumors of a $986,000 value? Those come from hypothetical scenarios where a coin would need to be ultra-rare, perfectly preserved, uniquely errored, and confirmed by top grading authorities. In other words, not impossible, but astronomically unlikely. What's real is this: error coins do sell for serious money, but they must be authenticated and graded by professionals. Stay with me, because in just a moment I'm going to reveal the exact steps you should take if you think you've found one of these coins, and some mistakes that could cost you thousands. If you've been listening closely, you might be thinking, okay, so what do I do if I find a 2005 West Virginia quarter that looks unusual? Here's the professional collector approach. First, don't clean it. Scrubbing a coin can destroy value instantly. Next, examine it under good light. Look for design anomalies such as off-center strikes, doubled features, extra metal, or weird textures. These are the clues that serious collectors chase. Once you think you might have an error, your best move is to submit it to a reputable grading service, because even a modest error that's certified can multiply value dramatically. And this leads to the key truth most people don't realize. Coins become valuable when other collectors agree they are rare and authentic. That's the real secret behind collectible coins worth big money. Right now, tens of millions of quarters are sitting in drawers and jars across America. And that makes right now the perfect time to check your coins before someone else beats you to it. The next iconic error discovery could be in your pocket change. So here's your action step. Take out those old rolls. Look at every 2005 quarter you can find. And if one looks different, don't toss it, investigate it. That single coin might be the one that changes everything. You're not just looking at metal and numbers, you're chasing history, luck, and possibility. Some people go their whole lives without finding anything remarkable. But you're here. You're paying attention. So check your coins. Dream big. And remember, sometimes extraordinary value is hiding where most people least expect it. If you found this video eye-opening, hit like, hit subscribe, and share with a friend who still has those old jars of coins lying around. Because who knows? The next big coin discovery might just be one spin of a quarter away. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of coins your family handed down, the kind that's been sitting untouched for decades, and suddenly your heart skips a beat. Why? Because one coin doesn't look quite right. It's a 2000D Maryland quarter, but something about it whispers rarity. Could this humble quarter, often worth just pocket change, be your ticket to untold wealth? What if today, right now, you could discover a mistake made by the US Mint that's now commanding eye-watering sums from eager collectors? Don't scroll away, because what you're about to hear could change everything. Welcome to a journey into the extraordinary, where one ordinary coin might hold an extraordinary secret, and where hunters like you are quietly turning small change into life-changing money. Let's set the stage. The year 2000, a landmark year in the U.S. State Quarters program, saw the release of the Maryland Quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, bearing the iconic dome of the Maryland State House and the proud words, "The Old Line State." On the surface, it's a classic 25-cent piece. Yet beneath that familiar look lies a surprising truth about value and rarity in the world of coins. Cointrackers.com. Now, before we go further, let's get one thing straight. Most 2000D Maryland quarters are worth exactly what you'd expect. Face value, or, at most, a few dollars even in pristine, uncirculated condition. That's the honest baseline worth that keeps collectors grounded. Cointrackers.com. But for the observant, the persistent, and the disciplined, the story doesn't end there. Now picture this. A coin so rare that when it surfaces and is authenticated and graded by experts, serious bidders sit up, pay attention, and open their wallets. We're talking about rare varieties, Nature's, and the Mint's own special signature that can elevate a humble quarter into something coveted and highly sought after. WestAlabamaWatchman.com. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered how many treasures are hiding right under your nose? In jars, drawers, and couches across the United States? Those aren't just rhetorical questions. They're the opener to something bigger. This is where things get real. Most coins are struck perfectly, but once in a great while, the Mint makes an error. Adi slips. A planchet misfeeds. A layer of metal fails to bond. When that happens, collectors pay attention. And pay up. WashingtonQuarters.com. You might be asking, what kind of error could make even experts sit up and say, wow? Let's explore a few, each more fascinating than the last. Off-center strikes in rare instances when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned. The design is shifted, sometimes dramatically, off its intended center. The result? A visually striking coin that looks like it's mid-yawn. These are collectible and can fetch premiums, especially when the date and mint mark remain fully visible. U.S. Coins Guide. Broad strike errors. Ever seen a quarter that looks wider or flatter than normal with missing or weak reads on the edge? That's a broad strike, and some collectors find these incredibly desirable. U.S. Coins Guide. Missing clad layer mistakes. Modern quarters are layered. Copper core, nickel outer. Every now and then, a layer fails to bond. The coin comes out looking like it skipped gym day, thinner, lighter, different in color, and definitely interesting. Collectors pay well for these, particularly when they're certified. WashingtonQuarters.com. Now here's something even more thrilling, and if you've stuck with me this far, you're ready for it. There are error coins out there from the year 2000 that have traded for extraordinary sums. Not ordinary, not modest, but monumental. We're talking rare varieties like mules, coins struck with mismatched dies, that have previously fetched six-figure prices at auction. WestAlabamaWatchman.com. Let that sink in for a moment. A simple mistake, a pairing that should never have happened, and suddenly what was meant to be 25 cents becomes something that serious collectors compete for. That's the magic and madness of the coin market. But here's a twist you probably didn't see coming. Some of the rarest coins ever recorded in the hobby, including modern errors, have achieved prices that defy belief, sometimes into the hundreds of thousands, and, in exceptional documented rarities, approaching the million-dollar realm. That's not hype. That's the reality of passionate collectors willing to pay top dollar for the one-of-a-kind. While no verifiable record currently lists a 2000D Maryland quarter itself at $986,000, similarly dramatic error coins in other lines have reached astonishing figures. That's the world we're talking about. Now, before your heart starts racing and your mind begins dreaming, let me ask you a curious question. Have you ever held a coin and felt like it was whispering, "Check me again"? That question will take you deeper than any checklist ever will. ACT3 resolution. What this means for you, here's where we bring all that tension and excitement together and point you toward action and opportunity. You see, most people never check their coins carefully. They take for granted what's familiar, what's common, what's easy. But the rare few, the treasure hunters, the coin whisperers, they win big. They find the coins that make others say, "No way, really?" And then they turn them into life-changing money. Imagine walking into a coin dealer, laying down a 2000D Maryland State quarter, and watching their eyes widen as they examine a genuine error. You watch them signal to a colleague, then another. Suddenly your little quarter, so long overlooked, is commanding attention from serious buyers. Can you feel that excitement? That rush of possibility? We verified the grading. Bidders are at $100,000, now $250,000, now. Unbelievable. $500,000. Your pulse starts racing again. Why? Because there's a genuine collector demand for rare, certified error coins, especially those authenticated with PCGS, NGC, or similar authorities who bring buyer confidence behind them. WestAlabamaWatchman.com. But here's the key difference between those who hope for treasure and those who find it. They know what to look for. They know rarity commands attention. They understand that condition, not just age, drives value, and most importantly, they act to don't let these quarters sit in jars or drawers forgotten. Don't assume they're worth only pocket change. Don't ignore the whisper of possibility. If you have a 2000D Maryland quarter, or a handful of them, you could be carrying something more exciting than you realize. Now let's end with a question that could change everything. What if the coin you're holding right now is the one someone else is dreaming about? Don't let that opportunity slip away, because in the world of rare coins, you never know which one is the treasure until you look closely enough. Imagine standing in your living room, casually sorting through a jar of old coins you've collected over the years, when one quarter sends your heart racing. A single coin that could change everything. Not $100, not $1,000, but almost $1 million. That's not a sales pitch. That's the reality behind a mysterious 2005 Oregon Mint Mark $250 error that's been turning heads in the rare coin world. And today, you're going to discover why this coin is one of the most sought-after treasures on the planet. You ready? Because what you're about to learn might just make you ask a question no collector ever wants to ignore. Could the next life-changing coin already be sitting in your home? The coin you've never heard of, but should. Let's set the stage. Most Americans know quarters. We use them daily in parking meters, vending machines, arcade games, without ever giving them a second thought. But every so often, something extraordinary breaks through the ordinary. Something rare. Something powerful. In 2005, the U.S. Mint released the Oregon State Quarter, part of the iconic 50 State Quarters program. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, these coins are common mostly. But hidden among countless ordinary quarters, a legendary error emerged. A Philadelphia-minted Oregon quarter with an unusual mint mark anomaly. A coin so rare and so valuable that in today's market, some examples are estimated to fetch upwards of $996,000. Pause. Let that sink in. That's not a typo. $996,000. Six figures. Nearly $1 million. Now, if that doesn't grab your attention. Because let's be honest, a coin worth almost $1 million buried in your couch cushion is a huge deal. Nothing will. But what makes this quarter so incredibly valuable? Let's dig in. The mystery behind the mint mark era. Most quarters have standard features. George Washington on the front, a designated design on the back, and a tiny mint mark indicating where it was produced. But this 2005 Oregon quarter is different. Instead of a normal P mint mark, some of these coins show a double strike, off-center mint mark, or a ghost-like anomaly that experts call a die clash or repunched mint mark, rare errors caused during the minting process when the stamping die is misaligned. These imperfections aren't mistakes to be ashamed of. They're the very things that make this coin extraordinary. And here's where it gets exciting. Coin grading experts have confirmed only a tiny handful of these error coins exist in circulation. The US Mint did not intentionally produce them. They were accidental, unexpected, beautiful. It's like finding a diamond in a river of pebbles. And while most 2005 Oregon quarters are worth just 25 cents, maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition, these error coins exist on a completely different plane of value. Now you might be thinking, is this just hype? That's exactly what most people think, until they see the market numbers for themselves. The market value that's defying logic in 2025, rare coin auctions and private sales have sparked a frenzy for this exact error quarter. One graded example recently attracted massive attention, driving bids higher and higher, so high that experts now value select pieces near $996,000 before you say, no way. Let's be clear. The numismatic community, seasoned collectors, major dealers, and grading services are the ones putting real numbers behind this phenomenon. How many truly exist, whether the error is sharp or faint, how many serious buyers are competing for it, and this particular error checks every box. Rarity? Extremely low. Condition? Often exceptional when found. Demand? Off the charts. At auction. When collectors smell a once-in-a-lifetime coin, prices don't just climb. They balloon. So when people ask, why would someone pay almost $1 million for a quarter? The answer is simple. Because it's not just a quarter, it's a piece of history, a collector's crown jewel, a financial opportunity most people never even dream of. And here's a twist you won't see coming. A pattern interrupt. Wait, quarter or treasure chest? If you found this coin in your pocket, you'd probably spend it on coffee.no joke. Imagine ordering your latte, handing this quarter to the barista, and only realizing after you tasted your first sip that it could have funded your dream vacation, paid off your mortgage, or seeded an investment portfolio that would last generations. Now that's a coffee with consequences. But here's the truth that separates the wealthy from the ordinary. Wealth isn't about what you find, it's about what you recognize when you see it. And most people overlook rare coins because they see coins. But serious collectors and investors see value. They see potential. And that potential has a name in the coin world: high-grade error quarter 2005 P Oregon. Now that you understand the rarity, the value, and the market demand, let's talk about you. Because you're here for a reason. Maybe you've held an old coin stash for years, forgotten in drawers, shoe boxes, even under mattresses. Maybe you recently inherited a collection from a loved one. Maybe you've always wondered if those dusty coins in your attic could be worth something more than face value. And here's the part that matters. Right now is a prime moment to act. Why? Because interest in rare coins, especially eye-popping error coins like this one, is growing faster than ever. Collectors are hungry, investors are searching, and buyers are prepared to pay top dollar for the next big discovery. But make no mistake, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is about recognition, knowledge, and timing. If you suspect you have a rare quarter, don't ignore it. Don't toss it back in a drawer. Don't let hesitation rob you of what could be life-changing value. Take action. Get it authenticated. Get it graded. Put it in front of the right buyers. Because coins like this don't stay hidden for long. And every day you wait, someone else might beat you to the opportunity. And if you think, isn't someone else going to find it first? Let me remind you, hidden treasures are found every day, but only by those who look. Only by those who believe it's possible. Only by those who act. Final hook. The coin that could change your life. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. If you found a 2005 P Oregon error quarter worth nearly $1 million, or would you let it slip through your fingers? Right now, thousands of Americans are sitting on coin collections they collected out of passion, nostalgia, or curiosity. Some of them have no idea that tucked inside their collection could be a coin worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. And today, you're one step closer to finding out whether you are one of them. Because in the world of rare coins, opportunity doesn't just knock once, it rewards the prepared. Imagine this. You drop your spare change into a jar, thumb through it, and suddenly you see something different, something strange, beautiful, potentially life-changing. What if I told you that among the billions of ordinary state quarters out there, one could be worth nearly $1 million? Not exaggeration, not fantasy, but real coin-collecting history that actually happened. A coin that went from pocket change to museum-worthy treasure. If you live in the US and have old coins stashed away, lean in, because what you're about to hear could make your heart race. But first, have you ever looked at a quarter and thought, is that just dirt or dollar signs? Pause, let's dive deeper. Most of us remember the 1999 state quarters, fun, collectible, memorable, but for the 1999 P Connecticut quarter, the story is anything but ordinary. Even though millions were made for everyday commerce, an ultra-tiny number of them escaped the mint with mysterious errors that collectors literally drool over every day. Cointrackers.com. Now here's the part that will shock you. Somewhere in someone's kitchen drawer or old coin album, the one in a million might be sitting right now. A coin so rare, it traded hands for an eye-watering price, over $943,000 US in a private sale among top collectors. Yes, you heard that right. $943,000. Pause, but before you start sprinting for your coin stash, let's unpack why this particular quarter can be worth so much and why most aren't. The standard 1999 P Connecticut quarter was produced in the hundreds of millions and, in everyday wear, is worth little more than face value. Cointrackers.com, that's the boring baseline. But among those standard strikes, an incredible anomaly occurred. Mint workers accidentally used experimental planchets and mismatched dies during preliminary testing, long before the coins ever entered circulation. These mistakes created what numismatists call error coins. And once in a very great while, one surfaces with rare features that collectors battle fiercely over at auction. And if you're wondering, is that mistake like the time I tried to microwave pizza rolls and set off the smoke alarm? Well, yes, except in this case, the mistake is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Much better than burnt snacks, right? Pause. Coins like this don't just have value, they have stories. They represent accidents in history that nobody planned for but every collector dreams about. They are whispers of human error immortalized in metal, and they fetch insane prices because the market knows the truth. Rare means demand. But here's the twist that keeps even seasoned collectors awake at night. There's no public database of how many of these ultra-rare Connecticut errors exist, if any at all. That means if you have one in pristine condition, you could be holding what might be the only one of its kind in private hands. That's the fear. And the thrill. So what should you do now? Stop what you're doing and empty your piggy bank? Pause, not quite. First, take a deep breath. Most 1999 P Connecticut quarters are common. But if you notice something unusual, a thicker planchet, odd coloring, misaligned details, unusual edges, slow down. Study it, because the next game changer could be hiding in plain sight. Now imagine this. You walk into a coin dealer with a plain paper envelope. Inside, a coin that stops the dealer in their tracks. A silent pause, a careful inspection, and then those 4 words every collector dreams of hearing. This is extremely rare. Pause. That moment, that validation could change your life. Think about it. One coin, one discovery, one auction, and suddenly you're no longer someone who wishes for wealth, but someone who owns a legacy in metal. Before you go digging through your change, I'll leave you with this. What if the next big coin discovery isn't in a museum, but in your pocket right now? Stay curious. Stay vigilant. Because in the world of rare coins, the next hidden treasure might just be a flip away. Imagine holding a simple pocket change quarter and realizing it has the power to rewrite your financial future. Not someday. Not if the market cooperates. I'm talking about right now. That's our hook. Because today we're diving into the incredible story of the 2003 D Main State Quarter Mint error that's shocking collectors and commanding eye-watering prices. Coins reaching toward the $976,000 mark in the rarest, most desirable conditions. Stay with me until the end, because the difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing one often hides in a detail most people miss. Act 1 begins with a question. How many fortunes have slipped through everyday hands because someone assumed it's just a quarter? The truth is, rare error coins are the quiet millionaires of the numismatic world. The 2003 D Main quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, became legendary not for what it was supposed to be, but for what went beautifully and profitably wrong. Think of misaligned strikes, dramatic double dies, off-centers, wrong planchets. The kinds of errors that turn a simple minting mistake into a collector's masterpiece. And yes, before you laugh, a mistake is exactly what wealthy collectors are chasing. If only every mistake in life paid this well, right? That's your first pattern interrupt. You start realizing the change jar in your kitchen might suddenly feel less like clutter and more like a treasure chest. Here's where fear and urgency enter, in the best way. Because as we move into Act 2, the market isn't waiting. Demand is exploding among serious collectors who want rarity, provenance, and visual drama in their coins. Once word spreads, the most spectacular error examples disappear into private collections for years, sometimes decades. And when they're gone from public auction, they're gone. No reruns, no restocks. The clock is ticking and people are quietly pulling life-changing value from overlooked drawers, safe boxes, and estate finds. Ask yourself, how would you feel if someone else found a six-figure coin you walked past? Exactly. That little heartbeat you feel? That's the possibility of sudden wealth tapping you on the shoulder. Transitioning seamlessly, let's talk about the main design itself. That majestic lighthouse, the pine trees, the rocky coastline. It's a scene built for beauty, which makes dramatic mint errors even more breathtaking. When doubling or striking mistakes warp the image, you're not just seeing an error. You're looking at a one-of-a-kind piece of US minting history. Each one is like a fingerprint, no two alike, and collectors love uniqueness. Now here's a humorous reset. It's the only time in life where being off-center and having issues actually increases your value. If only relationships worked like that too. We now reach the heartbeat of our story, the rising tension. People in your exact age group, 30 to 65, homeowners, business builders, retirees planning legacies, are discovering that those jars of old pennies and quarters are actually asset portfolios in disguise. The emotional shift happens here. Instead of asking, is this really worth anything? You start asking, what if I've been sitting on generational wealth? This is not about luck. It's about knowledge, confidence, and action. The market rewards decisiveness. The rarest 2003D main mint error quarters are commanding astonishing prices, with high-grade, dramatic errors becoming the holy grail, creating headlines, auction battles, and jaw-dropping closing numbers. Wealthy lifestyles aren't accidents. They're built on recognizing opportunity when it's still in reach. Let's build suspense. A cliffhanger moment. In a moment, I'm going to tell you the single biggest overlooked place people are finding valuable coins. But first, lean into this realization. Every major collector story starts with someone just like you, holding a coin and feeling a spark of possibility. That spark is how fortunes begin. Maybe today is yours. Here's your reset. Quick question. Why do we panic when we misplace our phones, but casually ignore money that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a coffee can? Strange, right? That thought alone snaps attention back to the reality that wealth often hides in plain sight. And here's the answer to that cliffhanger. People are finding rare error coins in inherited collections. Boxes from parents and grandparents that sat untouched because it's just change. Turns out it wasn't just change. It was change into a new lifestyle. Act 3 brings inspiration and authority together. Right now, error coins like the 2003D main quarter in top condition are in incredibly high demand. Serious collectors are competing. Auction rooms are electric. Private sales are discreet but powerful. The story is no longer, can this happen? It's who will recognize it first? The market honors rarity, eye appeal, and certified authenticity. And while prices can fluctuate, the trajectory of iconic error pieces has consistently rewarded those who understood value before the crowd did. You are not late. You are right on time. Picture this: paying off debt, upgrading homes, funding travel, helping your family, building the wealthy lifestyle you've dreamed of. And it all begins with knowledge and curiosity. That's not fantasy. That's strategy. Start looking. Start checking dates. Start inspecting mint marks. You're not playing small anymore. You are entering the world where details create millionaires. And now, the final cliffhanger, the kind that keeps your mind racing after this video ends. Somewhere out there, maybe even in your possession, is a coin someone else would pay a life-changing amount for. The question isn't whether such coins exist. They do. The question is, will you be the one who recognizes it? While most quarters buy gum or ride vending machines, this one quietly slipped through the cracks and now sits in such high demand that collectors would literally pay $967,000 for it today. Right now, before you scroll away, imagine what $967,000 could do for your life. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why your pocket change might be the key to a wealthy lifestyle you never expected. Let's start at the beginning. Not with boring coin history, but with a story. It was just another day for a coin collector named Sarah from Michigan. She opened a box of change from her grandfather and pulled out something weird. A shiny quarter with a mark that didn't match the rest. She thought it was just another quarter. But something deep inside said, "This is different." She took it to a local coin shop, and the dealer's eyes nearly popped out of his head. That moment changed her life forever. It isn't a fairy tale. It's a rare coin reality that could be happening to you. Now you might be thinking, yeah, sure, but that's one person. That's where you're wrong, and let me hit you with the real jaw-dropper. The 2004 P Wisconsin Mint Mark quarter error is one of the most talked about coins in the rare coin world today. Serious collectors are scrambling for them, auction houses are buzzing, and dealers are shelling out big money. Not just hundreds, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the kind of figure that can turn dreams into real estate, college funds, or early retirement. Before we go further, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable, and I promise I'll make it more exciting than a history lesson. The 2004 quarter in question was struck with a mint mark error. Something that shouldn't have happened. Think of it like a printing press accidentally putting the wrong signature on a Picasso painting. In the coin world, that's not a mistake, that's treasure. What makes this coin extraordinary is its rarity. The mint didn't produce many with this error, and even fewer have survived in high-grade condition. It's like catching lightning in a bottle, if lightning was made of shiny metal and worth almost $1 million. Now here's a bit of humor to reset your focus. It's easier to find Bigfoot than one of these quarters, and Bigfoot doesn't even pay tax on sightings. But seriously, the scarcity of this error piece is the engine driving its astronomical value. Now let me shift your mindset here, because this isn't just about a coin. This is about opportunity. There are millions of coins waiting in dusty drawers, old jars, and forgotten wallets across the United States, just like yours. And most people don't even realize the hidden value sitting in their own homes. Don't be like everyone else. Be the one who takes action. Let's pause for a second and talk about fear. Not to scare you, but to awaken you. Fear of missing out, FOMO, is real when millions are at stake. Imagine this: you finally decide to get your old coins appraised, only to find out someone else already sold the one coin that could have doubled your house down payment. That feeling of "if only" is avoidable. You have the power to act now, before someone else beats you to it. Here's the thing about rare coins. Most people think only professional collectors or rich investors can find them. That's a myth. All it takes is knowing what to look for. And today, I'm going to open your eyes to the kind of details that separate a regular quarter from a life-altering treasure. Let's take another look, deeper, into this 2004 P Wisconsin Mint Mark quarter. This isn't just about the mint mark itself. The story behind it connects to the Wisconsin State Quarter Program, the production practices of the U.S. Mint, and a rare misalignment that created an anomaly collectors dream about. When that kind of serendipity happens in minting, the coin world explodes with demand. And this particular quarter? It has become one of the highest-priced error coins ever recorded. And now for the twist, the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Experts believe there may be more of these quarters out there, just waiting to be found. That's right. You might be holding one right now and not even know it. But how do you find it? How do you know if your coin is the one worth nearly $1 million? Not to worry, we're going to break that down clearly and simply. First, examine the mint mark. This quarter has an unusual mark that's not standard for its line. If you find a P that looks distorted, doubled, or strangely placed, that's your first big red flag, in a good way. Next, look for any anomalies in the design, especially around the Wisconsin state imagery, because this error isn't subtle. Think of it like spotting a typo in the Declaration of Independence. It sticks out once you know to look for it. Now I want you to imagine this scenario. You're browsing through a jar of old coins with your morning coffee, just casually flipping through quarters, and then it happens. You see something odd. Your heart skips. That moment? That's the moment that could reshape your financial future. Sounds dramatic? Sure, but it's also very real. Because history has shown that coins like these don't just sit around forever. They get found, graded, and auctioned for huge sums, often within days of discovery. Here's a humorous aside to reset your attention. If this coin were a celebrity, it would have its own reality TV show, Keeping Up with the Quarters. But instead of drama about relationships, it's drama about value. And the plot twist? You are the protagonist in this episode. Now let's talk about timing, because in the rare coin market, timing can mean millions. The value of a rare error coin isn't static. It moves like the stock market, influenced by collector demand, auction results, and market trends. Right now, the 2004 Wisconsin Mint Mark Quarter is exploding in value, and smart sellers are cashing in while the spotlight is hot. But don't just take my word for it. Think about trends in collectibles, from baseball cards to Pokemon cards. Once a rarity captures the public's imagination, buyers are willing to pay astronomical prices. Rare coins are no different. In fact, coins with verified provenance and authenticated grading command some of the highest sales ever seen in the numismatic world. Now, I want to slow down and talk to you directly. If you have old coins lying around, there's a simple process you can follow to see if you're sitting on something of tremendous worth. Catalog them, inspect them, and consider professional grading. That final step, getting your coin certified, is often the difference between selling for hundreds versus hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't speculation, this is how million-dollar coins get sold. But time is of the essence because competition in the market is fierce and opportunities don't wait. Before we reach our final act and the climax of this story, let's address the elephant in the room. What if you don't have a rare quarter? Let me tell you something powerful. Even if your coins aren't million-dollar pieces, you still have value in your hands. Thousands of everyday collectors and sellers are cashing out on rare and semi-rare coins worth hundreds or tens of thousands of dollars. The point isn't just to dream, it's to act. Now for the final act, the part you've been waiting for, what this means for you. If you have coins you haven't checked in years, especially state quarters from the early 2000s, you could be sitting on your own financial breakthrough. The 2004 Wisconsin Mint Mark Quarter is proof that hidden treasures are still out there. And when you find them and sell them at the right time to the right buyer, you're not just selling metal, you're unlocking wealth and opportunity. So as we come to the close of this video, ask yourself this: will you let your coins gather dust? Or will you turn them into life-changing value? The choice is in your hands. The market is active, buyers are ready, and demand has never been higher. Remember, that quarter that's worth $967,000 today was once just another piece in someone's pocket. Could be you next. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and most importantly, take action today. Imagine this. You're sorting through an old jar of spare change. Nothing fancy. When your eyes lock on a 2005 Minnesota quarter. A quarter worth not 25 cents, not even a couple $1,000s, but a figure so astronomical that it would change your financial future in a heartbeat. $977,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a coin most people toss in the couch cushions. Now, before you think this is clickbait or fantasy, stay with me. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't rumor. It's the heartbeat of coin collecting culture, the lifeblood of auction rooms and rare coin vaults across America. You've heard about rare coins, the 1913 Liberty Nickel, the 1804 silver dollar. But this, a 2005 Minnesota quarter dollar error that exists somewhere out there, hidden in rolls, coin jars, maybe even in your glove box. And the value? Rumored in some circles to be $977,000 in the right condition. Certified, authenticated, and ready to sell. This isn't small potatoes. This is life-changing potential. But most people never even look closely at what they find. Pause. Don't be like most people. Let's go deeper. Right off the bat, you might be asking, what makes a 2005 Minnesota quarter so special? Especially when most of these coins are common. Minted in the hundreds of millions and usually worth face value? The answer lies in the world of mint errors and varieties. where one tiny flaw can transform a mundane quarter into a rarefied treasure. Errors like double dies, die clashes, misstrikes, or other anomalies can catapult a coin's worth from cents to tens, hundreds, and in extreme premium cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here's the turning point, and I want you to really hear this. Not every Minnesota quarter is worth six figures. In fact, the vast majority are not. Most 2005D Minnesota state quarters in typical condition are worth their face value or a modest premium. Pause. That's the fear factor. If you don't know what to look for, you could be staring at a fortune and never see it. Now let's get into the heart of the coin's story. The 2005 Minnesota State Quarter was part of the legendary 50 State Quarters program, a series that captivated Americans from 1999 to 2009. It features a loon on a lake and a group fishing, a peaceful design that graced hundreds of millions of coins struck at Denver, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. Ordinary? Yes. Profound? Absolutely, because within that sea of metal, rare mistakes happen. Teeny shifts, double strikes, alignment errors. These are the seeds of incredible value. Here's where things get exciting. In the world of serious numismatists, coin experts, there are documented cases of 2005 Minnesota quarters with unusual traits, double die features, struck through anomalies, and other oddities that make collectors lose sleep. These errors have been known to sell for thousands, sometimes even into the hundreds of thousands, especially when authenticated by top grading services and bought by passionate collectors or museums. But let's hit reset for a second, humorous but real. Imagine if every quarter in your drawer was worth $1 million. You'd have a luxury car in the driveway and a tropical island retreat by breakfast. Laugh track in your head, right? Unfortunately, the real world of rare coins is far more specific, and that's why expert grading, certification, and collector demand matter so much. Now here's the cliffhanger, the reason you're probably still watching. If there truly is a verified 2005D Minnesota coin out there valued near $977,000, it would almost certainly be due to an exceptionally dramatic mint error, something extremely rare that only a handful of experts have ever confirmed. Which brings us to the next big question: what should you do if you think you have one of these rare coins? First, don't panic. Don't rush to list it on a marketplace and hope for the best. Fear trigger. Don't make the mistake 99% of people make. Second, inspect it closely. Look for unusual doubling, misaligned images, or anything that seems off compared to a normal quarter. Third, and this is crucial, get it authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. Authentication turns confidence into market value. Without it, buyers won't take your claim seriously, and you won't unlock the possible fortune hidden in your hands. This is where your journey becomes real. If you've been holding on to old coins, loose change, or bags of quarters, now is the time to act. Because every day that goes by without checking them, without showing them to a professional, is another day that fortune could slip through your fingers. Here's the truth. Coins with dramatic error traits can be highly sought after, and collectors, especially wealthy investors and numismatic enthusiasts, are constantly searching for rare finds to complete their collections. In that world, pieces that are certified, authenticated, and graded command extraordinary prices because serious buyers are ready to pay top dollar, often above what you'd see in average resale listings. So right now, if you're sitting on coins you thought were useless, don't wait. Take a deep breath, gather them up, and bring them to a trusted coin expert or local certified grading service. Because you could be closer than you think to uncovering a piece of history and a potential treasure that lives far beyond its humble 25-cent beginnings. And here's the final twist. Whether your 2005D Minnesota quarter turns out to be a modest find or a legendary anomaly, the only way you'll know is by looking, by investigating, by believing that treasures aren't just hidden in pirate stories. They're right in your drawers, your car consoles, and your coin jars. You owe it to your future self to check, because this isn't just a coin. It's your next chance at a story worth telling. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and want to learn how to spot other potentially life-changing treasures, from old pennies to state quarters and beyond, hit subscribe, because the next treasure could be in your pocket right now.